Good evening, YouTube. It's man on the way, George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, I know it's a little late usual for me doing one of my videos, but this show is coming up in another 3.5 hours. It's going to be, as you know, upcoming tomorrow, actually more like later today, later this evening and early morning is going to be the Masters Olympia. It's in Japan. And Japan's on a 14-hour time difference from the United States. So right now, I think it's right about, early in the morning, I think for them, compared to as it is, it's late in the evening. It's like already, well, like not too late in the evening. Sorry, just almost a few minutes to 10. But you know what? I was so busy working on other stuff. And then, I said, no, this is a busy weekend. Just finishing my second interview for the day. Still working on some content. Especially the Tupelo Pro just, I think the first half of this finished, which was figure. Congratulations to Rhea Gale. And the other half is going to be women's, physique tomorrow. And also, the Texas Pro is going to have their part too. I think the Tupelo had their part with women's physique, but I got to see who's the winner of that show. It's, like I said, they were different times. But anyway, folks, the Masters Olympia is probably one of the biggest shows outside the Olympia for bodybuilding, if counting the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic, the also the Olympia, and also the Rising Phoenix. There's a few opportunities for women's bodybuilding, but it is a great show also for women's physique. So many other divisions, but as you know, my focus is mostly on the two divisions that really pay more attention to, and also on the figure, but I'm not gonna do too much because it's a long list. So here's the list for women's bodybuilding at the Tupelo Pro. As you know, it's the Masters Plus show, meaning it has to be 40 and over to compete. Some top level competitors, some ladies who haven't seen in a long time, and some ladies who are, who's been in the show before, especially we have here the former champ. First off, we have here the lovely lady who I'm a fan of, the lovely Miss Mayla Ash. As you know, Mayla, last time she saw her compete was a Triple O. And I know she did an interview with my man Glenn over the at the Amazon Fitness magazine, that she was going to do another show that was New York, but then she didn't do that show. We'll hope to see some more shows, but I think she was just stacking her chips and trying to get ready for a show in Japan. Great competitor, a multiple-time Olympian, both in women's bodybuilding and physique. Big fan of her for a long time. She's had a couple of off years the last couple of years, but like I said, from what I've seen her on social media, she looks like she's pretty good. Next up we have is Olga Belakova, and she's been competing since, I think she competed since the good part of about maybe 2017, 2018. She's originally from Russia. Next up we have is the 2023 champion, Rashana Boswell, who I had a pleasure meeting a couple of years ago. She was down here in North Carolina for a seminar that was being promoted by Amazon Fitness magazine. Great place to meet her. That was the year she won the Puerto Rico Pro, which was the last time they had that show. Great lady. She won the show last year. We get her, I think, her 5th Olympic qualification, because she's been qualified in Olympia, both women's bodybuilding and women's physique. Next up we have is Patty Corbett. And can you believe this lady's 69 years old? And she's been competing for a long time. She has been nearly consistently competing for the past 3 or 4 years. Surprisingly, she is just amazing. She's pretty good for a woman almost 70. But let's see how she does, Also, we have Amelia Balakova. As you know, I interviewed her. She's from Bulgaria. I interviewed her a few days after she did two things. She won overall title in both women's bodybuilding and women's physique at the Remaining Muscle Fest weekend, which qualified now as a pro. This is going to be her pro debut. I'm surprised, I thought she was going to do physique, but she decided to do women's bodybuilding. We haven't been in contact too much lately, but I hope she does well. I think we like to see how she do. Maybe she might even there's a couple more shows coming up. One is going to be a little qualifier this year. That is the Darren James show in Germany. And also, she might go back to the Remaining Muscle Fest and see how she does. But I hope she does well. Next up here, the lady who just had an interview a couple of days ago. That's the lovely Mrs. Tiana Flex. As you know, Tiana, she did the Triple O Dynasty a few months ago. She did also the Portugal Pro. She got second in both those shows. Impressive. And this is another show she's doing. I hope she does well. We would love to see her more here in the States, and also more opportunities for compete, because they live in South Africa. There's so few show opportunities and the cost of traveling. But if you watch my interview with her and her husband Tony, there is a PayPal in the link, and you can send a donation. That really helps. Next up we have here the lovely Salika Gavin. I think that's actually pronounced her name. As you know, Salika, she won the Triple O Dynasty, both in the Open and the 40+. Impressive physique, great size. I hope she improves her conditioning. That's the one thing. Her conditioning can be kind of, and that's what surprised me how she, to me, it kind of surprised me to beat, Tiana. I think Tiana had a good condition, but I think that the judges were looking for overall size and look, kind of like what happened with Sherry Priami when she lost to Anastasia Leonova last year at the Portugal Pro. And Anastasia, even though Sherry has a great physique, Anastasia was more the overall look that they want in women's bodybuilding. But like I said, she's an impressive lady, and I hope she does well this show. Right here we have is Abby Jimenez, and she's been a pro for quite some time. Now, she posted on the show back in 2023, but she dropped out. There's talking about making a pro debut. I hope she does make it because it's been a long time. She earned a pro card as a physique in the Philippines. I know I've seen some pictures of her. She was at the Olympia a couple of times hanging out. And now this is possible we might finally see her make her pro debut. Next up we have is the lovely Mrs. Cheryl Mears. Now, Miss Mears has been competing. She did a show back in 2023. She's also going to cover other shows since then. President her story, her surviving, what she's been through. I've been in contact with her. Maybe sooner or later, I might want to do an interview with her. I'm planning on doing something coming up a couple of weeks, my next roundtable. And I'm hoping to have some ladies from the show talk about their thoughts on the show, how it runs, everything like that. We'd love to have that as guests. Next up we have is Uta Spitzbrat from Germany. She's competed a show before and also some other shows. She was women's physique for quite some time, but then she made the switch to women's bodybuilding. Not much more about it. I have reached out before, but her English is not that good. I would love the opportunity to interview more women outside the country, but English does help when you have the conversation because my German does. I other than maybe a few words I heard on television in World War II movies like that, I don't have great German. Next we have is Alina Opera from Hungary. As you know, Alina made her switch to women's bodybuilding last year. She was in top 3 at the Portugal Pro. Then she won her qualification to the Olympia at the Alina Classic, which is coming up in another few more weeks. Impressive physique, she was top 10 in the last Olympia in women's bodybuilding. Next one we have is a legend, a lady I'm a fan of, Virginia Sanchez. Just one of the top women in the sport, multiple time Rising Phoenix champion. Also, she's been Olympian in the past. Great physique, great size. We haven't seen her compete in a while. So I know some situation happens with her. Recently, she was going to do Rising Phoenix 1 year, but she had to drop out because of family responsibilities. Plus, she was moving, and she felt like she couldn't focus if she has to take care of things. She needs to take care of home. So we hope to see her and hope she does well. Like I said, I'm a fan of her. She has a beautiful physique, great conditioning. Up next, we have is Tracy Smith. Now, Tracy has been competing for quite some time. She was in women's physique, but now she's doing women's bodybuilding. She's been a multiple-time Master World Championship competitor. She also serves her city as a firefighter. I say thank you for your service. We hope she does well this show. And next we have is Elizaveta Sharenko from Russia. We last seen her at the Imperial, where she was number 4. It was number 3 and number 4. Impressive physique, great size, great muscle. These Russian competitors really bring the size and the muscle. We hope to see some, we saw recently it's a possibility that Anastasia Kovaleva may not be able to compete at the Olympia. Visa issues, stuff is going on. Now what's going on with now the country, it's just, but, she's impressive. Great size, great definition, just need to work on the condition a little better. And next up we have here is Dr. Jeannie Welker. She is a doctor of veterinary. That is still a doctorate. She's been competing quite some time. She was in women's physique, switched to women's bodybuilding. She's been also at shows like the Rising Phoenix. Great look, great muscle development. The last time we saw her was the New York Pro back in 2024. Impressive physique. She's actually half Japanese. So, that means that she'll need a translator. She might know enough where she can have a good conversation. I think I suggested somebody that if you are needing a translator, talk to her because she understands language. This may be a chance to come back to, as you might say, the motherland. But let's wish the best of luck. Now, the list was more of some ladies, but we had some ladies who had to drop out, like Barbara Mogin, who competed back in 2023. Keisha Oliver, who was the last to win her qualification for the show, but you got to think that's too soon, trying to turn around. My dear friend, Gabriella, Morrison, who's Gabriella Vega, she's not doing the show, and quite a few others. We lost a lot of bodies because the cost of going all the way to Japan is too expensive, and the trip might cost a lot. So some ladies couldn't have the funds to do it. So maybe next year, and also that's why I say people reach out to these ladies and show support maybe the opportunity maybe to finance their competition opportunity, especially in another country. Now we have here the list for women's physique, and this is a deep list, very deep. It would have been a lot more deeper too if more competitors were able to compete in the show. Because, like I said, just like women's bodybuilding, some ladies had to drop out too because of the cost of travel and training. It's expensive to be a bodybuilder. You should know that. But now I've told this quite often. First off, we have is Carolina dos Santos. As you know, she's been a multi-time Olympia qualified competitor, but has not yet been to Olympia. Now, she competed in the show back in 2023, took second to the champion at that time, Evie Rain. She last did the Romanian Muscle Fest, which qualified to Olympia. The problem is visa issues. And I know she's from Brazil, but there has to be something on her record which caused her not to be able to come here to the States. You got to get, the competitive bodybuilder, you have to get a work visa. Because when you come in to do a show, you're working, so you get a work visa. So whatever issue she has, here, I'm going to tell you, I hope she doesn't win. I'm honestly going to say, because if you win and you don't do the Olympia, you're holding up for opportunity for somebody else. No offense to her, but, you know, that's how I feel. Also, we have Alora Amini from the UK. She got a qualification at the Masters Pro Championship in Spain. Great physique. Wow. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. Beautiful look to her. Great conditioning. Maybe a little more size, but that's the thing with the physique division. It shouldn't be too big. But, she has great potential. Depending on, like I said, this is some heavy hitters in the show, but she might do well. I hope she does another show, which probably get her Olympic qualification. There's still at least a couple more shows. One is for this year's Olympia. That is the Darren James Europa show. And also there's the, actually it's 3 more. If you count, there's going to be a show in Portugal, but that's a master show too. So maybe you get a qualification for 2027. Next up, we have one Miss Krista Bithill. Hill. She just got her 40+ qualification at the Emerald Cup. Don't know much about her. Next up we have is Suchi Butler. Now, Miss Butler, she turned pro last year at the North Americans, also made a pro debut at the World Bodybuilding Championships, Master Championships. She is a client of Hella Trevino and a friend. She's full-blood Japanese. She's been in the States for a long time. And this is also somebody I suggested that if you are a competitor over there and you need a translator, you should reach out to her. I mean, it's a good idea to, have somebody who knows the language a lot good. Next one we have is Natalia Basturova. And can you believe this lady? She's 57 years old today. Not today, but this year. 57 years old. As you know, back in 2023, she got her Olympic qualification at the Romanian Muscle Fest. Then did the main show. Then placed top 4, beating at least 2 or 3 Olympia level competitors. Coming to the States, winning her qualification at the Ultima Classic, and then take a second at Omaha. Impressive physique, great look to her. Follow social media. I would love to have an interview, but she speaks truly Russian, but she says she understands some English. She has a friend as a translator. Maybe might do it, but the thing is, you lose some in translation. We have here a lovely legend, the lovely Mrs. Candace Carr. Now, she's been game for quite some time. She originally was women's bodybuilding, but then later she switched to women's physique later on. She's been to the Masters Olympia before, back in 2023. Great physique, great body. She last competed at the Toronto Super Show. This is a beautiful physique, beautiful body. I'd love to have her on as a guest if we get an opportunity to. Next up we have is Marisol Cruz. Last time she competed was the Masters Championships in Pittsburgh. She's been a while. She's originally from I think she's originally from she's originally from Mexico, but she lives in the U.S. But impressive physique. Next up we have the legend who's been a multi-time Olympic competitor in women's physique, Mrs. Heather Grace. Miss Heather Grace has been in the game for a long time. I know a dear friend of mine used to date her back in the day. Amazing physique, top level competitor. Even one time she had to stay in women's bodybuilding, but didn't do too well with it. And went back to women's physique. She last competed at Chicago Pro, where she got 3rd. Here we go. We have here a lady I got the pleasure of meeting in real life, even in the interview here. Susan Matheson. Been in the game for quite some time, over 12 years as a pro. She's a top seller competitor. She did a show back in 2023. She was in top 5. Beautiful physique, great conditioning. I got the pleasure of meeting her and talking with her. Her body's just crazy. She did the Tampa Pro just a week ago and then turned around, went back home, went to Japan. Whew, that's a lot. I mean, I would have just skipped Tampa, but she said her coach wants to see how she does and how she fares. But, amazing physique, and I hope she does well. Next up, we have Miss Ann Gruber. Now, Miss Gruber, she's been a competitor for quite some time. She got a qualification back in the 2024 Triple O Dynasty to Olympia. We haven't seen her much lately. She's been training, working with also with my dear friend, the lovely Miss Big Jane Akapichi. Her and Big Jane, also Don Staley, who I got to meet too, also in Tampa. I would say a Jersey girl, been in the game for quite some time. Great physique, great look to her. I hope she does well. That's a lady who's been a guest on my channel a couple of times. The lovely Mrs. Tracy Giles. Tracy's from Australia. Last year, she got a pro card. Then, barely a month later, she did her pro debut and then got her first Olympic qualification. Great lady, great personality about her. She's a great physique. I'm a fan of Tracy. I think she's an amazing person. Next up, we have is Anna Harris, who's been a multi-time Olympian herself. She did not, I think she last competed was last year. She got a qualification in Chicago. Then she won the Atlanta Pro. Actually got a qualification in Atlanta, then won Chicago Pro, got a backwards. And she did Texas, didn't do as well as Texas. President physique, great lines. She's been in the game as a pro for almost 5 years. Also, she's a friend of my dear friend, the lovely Bev Coleman. She works with her husband, who's a trainer, Pedro. I saw a picture with him. He was hanging around one of the figure girls. Great physique, great lines. I think, again, she does kind of fit the standard of women's physique. Next up was a lady who I've been a guest, the lovely Mrs. Donna Jones. Now, Miss Jones is from Barbados. Been in the game for quite some time. Athlete, track star, loving mother. She went there actually about the end of the last week, and she said she did an interview with my man David, or Female Battling Forum. Go check it out. And she's staying for maybe about another week or so, and then coming back home. Like I said, I hope he enjoys that. Going to another country, the opportunities there, and like I said, just really making a brand for yourself. So let's wish her all the best. Next up, we have is Miss Mariana Polo. I hope we got it right now. She's from Cyprus. She's one of 2 female bodybuilders from the country of Cyprus. The other one is Cleo Marquitas. Press physique, tall, nice, slender. Last time we saw her competing with the Portugal Pro. A bit of contact with her before. Maybe in the future I might do an interview with her. Next up we have is Ji Hai Lee from South Korea. One of the few women from South Korea that competes as a pro. Last time we saw her, I think, was this year's New York Pro. She's been Olympia before, and now she want to get a shot. She might try to get. Like I said, it's still a tough lineup. And also a lovely lady who has been on my guest on my channel, the lovely Mrs. Robin Mays. As you know, she got her first Olympic qualification just a few months ago at Toronto Pro. Now she's trying to shoot for a Masters Olympic qualification for 2027. Now she's also, she's already got a qualification, but if she wins this show, she still wins. But, because if you win in the Masters class of the Masters Olympia, you still get to go to the Olympia. But she's already got her ticket signed when she won at Toronto. President is a great lady. Can you believe she's almost 60? Wow, you wouldn't think of it. Next up, we have one Miss Susan Oke. She's from Australia. Been a pro quite some time. Very popular on social media. Great physique, great look to her. She might place well, but not as well, because especially we have a lot of heavy hitters here. Next up, we have here the lovely Miss Joanne Romano. She's been in the game for quite some time. From Spain. She competed show last year. She was, I think, the top 5 of the show, because most top 5 qualifiers are already given a bye. So let's see how she does. Next up we have is Neda Silva. As you know, she made a debut last year. She did a couple of shows on the coast, and also the show here in Brazil. Great look, great physique. She won the Olympic qualification in Brazil, and also she won her Masters Olympic qualification in the Atlantic coast. Great physique. I think the Brazilian women just amazing. Good conditioning. Top level competitor. Next up, we have Natalia Sparrings, Dr. Natalia Sparrings, who's from the UK. She won her qualification last year at the Romanian Muscle, not Romanian Muscles, the Arizona Pro, which won 40 plus. Arizona Pro is now no longer, it's being absorbed, and now he's Rising Phoenix, which covers all divisions. President lady, she's a doctor from the UK. I think she's actually from America, but she does, she has an American accent. I know my man Dave did an interview with her, and she posts a lot of stuff on social media. But she does, so like, I think she's maybe, I don't know. It's kind of like that, but Anyway, we have here is Shikma Jimiya. She's from Japan. Don't know much about her. I think this is going to be her pro debut. Next up we have is the lovely Miss Patricia Trish Wood. Now, I had her guest before on my channel a couple of times. I had some of her clients and friends on there. Trish has a beautiful physique, great body. She's been Olympian in the past. We have not seen her. She was inactive for a while. I reached out to her in an interview. She said she was going to make a return. That was about a couple of years ago, and she done pretty good, Last time she competed was the Atlantic Coast. Great physique, great body, very petite, very great look to her. I mean, I'm a fan of Trish, and I hope to have her back on. She can talk about her experience about it, Masters Olympia. Now, I said again, just like with the women's bodybuilding, there was a few more ladies. One lady who just got her qualification at the Tampa Bay last week. She's not doing the show. Maybe for those ladies who get their qualification at Tampa Bay, they should give that automatically to the 2027 Masters Olympia. You got to think about it. You won that show just a week. You don't have enough time to get ready to stack your chips. I mean, it's too soon. That should have been qualification for 2027. Quite a few other ladies who were on the list that are either, like I said, Evie Rain has retired because she was 2020. Sorry, I skipped last year. She was 2023 champion, and a couple other ladies are not competing in this show. But like I said, it was pretty good. Now, this is the list for figure. And I'm not going to go too much into it because other than, most definitely who's I feel like if she's going to win, it's going to be Jessica Ray Padilla. Unless someone else comes out and beat her. But I will talk about a couple of ladies who are doing this show. The lovely Madame Laveau. I had the pleasure to interview her a while back. Great physique, great lovely lady, proud, strong black woman. I'm a fan. Like I said, I love my sisters. That's why I support her. And also another sister, Dr. Adrienne Matthews. I interviewed her a while back. Doctor of pharmaceuticals, great, smart, and intelligent. Great physique. I hope she does well. Because this is a very deep lineup. I think nearly 30 women figure. I was going to do a video on it, but it would take too long. I mean, and most of the ladies some I recognize here and there, but the ones I will talk about the ones I do know, especially here in the fitness division. And I've done a handful of interviews with fitness competitors. And most definitely one lady I want to give a shout out is the lovely Mrs. Stephanie Jones. Now, Miss Jones, she's been competing for quite some time, been a multi-time Olympia. She got her qualification at the Rising Phoenix Arizona Pro, and both the Open and in the Masters. As you know, saw recently her husband, Bill, went through some very bad times, medically, but he's doing a lot better. We've been in contact before a few times, but I think she's a great lady, great physique. As you know, back in 2024, she did a stint in wellness, and then she went back to fitness. And I think doing wellness might help a little bit, especially when the crowds in the quads. As you know, even in fitness, you still have to do some posing. And I think that might have hit her condition a little more. As you know, fitness is one of the toughest divisions in the IFBB. I would say generally for women, but just for any competitor. I said before, there's no fitness in men anymore. You used to have it back in the day, but it wasn't as popular. I think somebody says it's still in Europe somewhere, but America is kind of different. Guys jump around, little speedos like that. It's not something we want to see. But I wish her all best, Miss Stephanie. I think she might get her qualification for the Olympia at the show and also win the title because I think she's a great competitor. Now, the show is happening another 2 or 3 hours because, as you know, it's a different time between the United States and Japan. And it's going to be around about, I think, 1 o'clock in the morning for us, maybe around about 12 or something like that in the afternoon for them. It's 14 hours difference. I mean, I remember, the other day I had an interview with Tony and Tiana. I had to get up at 5 o'clock, get ready, and then set up for my interview for 6 o'clock. Because they were getting to their apartment by 7 o'clock. That's just so. So if you have the stamina to get up early, go to bed early, catch it. It's great. Me, no. I'll wait. My man David says he's gonna watch and record it. I'll check out when he posts it, and I'll let you know the news. Also, same day today is also going to be the quite a few shows going to be busy. I think I know the Texas Pro is going to have the women's physique part of the show. I think two people just had their shows. I got to check and see who was the winner. It's a lot. I'm trying to be. Plus I got some videos I got to cut and put together, and this was one of them. And like I said, my trip to Tampa got me busy. Just like I said, I got 2 more interviews coming up and some more I'm working on. But I wish you the best of luck to all the competitors, especially ladies who have been my channels, have been guests. And I hope maybe have them on in the future to talk about their experience in another country like Japan and how they like the show. Anyway, folks, I appreciate it. Y'all can catch the show early in the morning if you want to get up, or not, you can just catch the replays. Anyway, this has been Always Joe's Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Like, don't like, subscribe. I'm out. Good night, good night, and God bless.